And we're back, and we're going to talk a little bit now about some of the varieties that were top performing in the western half of Kansas. So, Romulo, what do we think about when we select varieties for this part of Kansas?
Definitely performance will be on the top of our mind, right? They need to be strong and consistent performance, especially in western Kansas. We are not only looking for yield potential, but we're also looking for stability, right? Is that variety always going to give me at least something, or is it going to go towards the bottom in one year, towards the top in the other? So stability of yield is very important in western Kansas. But some more direct agronomic things that we are looking for are drought tolerance. If we look back in 2020 and how dry it was, it really shows why that's such an important trait in western Kansas. Growers also like varieties that are slightly taller in western Kansas compared to central Kansas, and that's mostly because they see the importance of that wheat residue going into the rotation for their next crop as well, and helping store some moisture that can actually account for many bushels in their corn crop that comes after the wheat. From an agronomic perspective, those would be the main things that growers are looking for in western Kansas. What about from the disease perspective, Kelsey?
Sure, yeah. So on top of drought tolerance and height, it's really important in this part of Kansas to think about wheat streak mosaic tolerance. So you have either varieties that are resistant to the virus or varieties that are resistant to that wheat curl mite. So those are two important factors to consider. In terms of foliar diseases, stripe rust and leaf rust are probably the two top ones we want to think about. So selecting a variety with intermediate to good resistance would be a good way to protect the crop in this area. Or varieties that are more susceptible, we might have to be prepared to spray a fungicide in those high disease pressure years to really maximize yield potential. So what were some of the top varieties this year and in years past in this region?
Some varieties are consistently performing well across the entire western Kansas. Others are more northwest or southwest Kansas. Some of those with consistent performance across the entire western portion of the state would be Joe. If you're looking for a white wheat, that's probably my go-to variety. We've also had KS Dallas perform extremely well during these last few years there, consistently over-yielding Tatanka, which is also another very good variety for that region. Provided that growers understand that lodging might be a concern on Tatanka there, right? And canvas as well. Colorado State canvas has performed extremely well this year, really showing its drought tolerance and its adaptability to that region. Now we have a few others that are more specific, northwest or southwest. For example, SY Wolverine has performed very well in the northwest part of the state. If we look at Langin, Colorado State, it does well throughout western Kansas, but perhaps because of its maturity, might be a better fit in the southwest part of the state. So those will be some of the ones that come to mind that are performing quite well. Always remember to look at the K-State trials, right, and make sure that you understand the variety performance in that entire region, not only in 1 year, but 2 and 3 years in a row, and take a look at more options that you might have in several of the resources that we have available.